Well, here's Colin. Just going to go over the Ukrainian situation here as it stands. It's a little bit different um, out there. People want to declare a no-fly zone in it, but I'm not sure if that would be necessarily a good thing. Simply because while it will do away with a lot of situations, the possible problems that could come up, I'm just saying the no fly zone means that NATO or someone would have to reinforce it. It means that they could shut down everything. There's no way of civilian refugees leaving. And in this and saying it, this is kind of the West's way of saying we're going to let people that are 16, 18, 17, or something else say that they were never contacted by the government of Ukraine and sneak out over across the border in NATO, where you have to be 21 or older to serve in the NATO army. The 18-year-olds to 21-year-olds that are USA soldiers, they don't really get in those places. It's kind of like one person I knew, this guy, I'll call him CC for his initials. Maybe I might hear back about it. He didn't join until after he was 21. So, in and of itself, if you join after 21, you can get NATO assignments now. That changed after the Vietnam War and the Cold War, like around 1985. This other guy who I know that we'll call him CP for his initials, he joined up, basically like 17 and a half with a parent's permission slip because he was graduating early and did his own training and everything else and checked in and turned in a notebook and everything to the recruiter and all of that. And went in, and his dad's like, you can take him there. And it's like, let's let him go until his 18th. I want to see what he does himself and have him do this journal. Okay, sure. And we'll keep it on file for it. They gave him a special type of like credit and other stuff like that. Everything else, he's Army, go gun ho, whatever it is, put the pedal to the metal and just keep going. And due to the way of them going in, they actually had to take them to different special military bases. He's not, CP was not allowed to go anywhere except Germany for an injury, and granted, he went off and said it was a BS injury. This other person went off and everything else. He got to go to a bunch of different NATO bases that he got dropped into. He got to go for something, I think it was his whole unit had some stuff happen to him and they're getting ready to be decommissioned. He was flown into the Italian military base for NATO and the U.S. And he was allowed to be in these different other areas. And it was just a fact of how they were in ages. I think something like that was saying things are. I am a little concerned with some of the like new shaded areas and everything. Christian, I've talked with some people online from there. It's very close to Odessa. There's this little town called Cherchesky. In a way, it's in the very heart center of everything, and it's made up of, honestly, looking at the aerial view, nothing but cemeteries. There's more cemeteries than there are anything out there. And it's like there's 4 or 5 people online that I wish I could get online with. And I've tried getting some prepaid cards and some other stuff just to try and get on and talk to these places. I may try to make a new email address to try and look up some of these and just see what's all happened. over there with them, and just to be like, hey, how are you? Anything else? We talked once or twice long ago on a dating site. Even my ones that I have for like people that are Yahoo, it's day by day. The AOL servers cannot hook up over there, it says. The Yahoo servers cannot hook up. It's a complete blackout, and it's going back and forth with it. And I'll be honest, whenever there's a major push forward, from what I can tell on the colored map parts, if the email will not go through, there's going to be another push. And there's going to be a lot more shaded parts for Russia. And I know it's a stupid situation, but if you do it every 30 minutes, just to send in and be like, hey, is this one still open and active? Hey, is this one still open and active? And from what I can tell on the map, that's what's happening. Looking at it all, I think they may be using some very high-end thermal bombs, but as far as what I know of, a vacuum bomb that I'll just go ahead and say in 1980 to 1983, there was a thing that was used that was called a vacuum bomb in and around Oak Ridge. I'm sure it was something that was very low grade and small, but in no way is an explosive incendiary device. I've already made another post. My post was not taken down or anything, and this is just one of the ways you can tell how they're doing the pushes, that they will shut down all internet and cell phone communications. Basically, it's like a micro EMP. In a way, if I was going with a conspiracy theory here, and there was were-tigers and werewolves there, or any of the mystical people from Japan and the Holocaust, that would be one of the things they'd be doing in order to try and flush those people out. Those types of systems was supposed to take away all the mystical Jewish spells or anything you would see in anime that they would do, and rendered them useless. And so long as the system was up, it does that. So, underneath that, there shows something that is a USA possible technology that it can look at with it. Granted, it was done for those reasons out there. Maybe those people happen to be, aluminum smelters, home forgers, or something else. Because I do know if you're a home forger and you don't have the right gas mask on, the cell phones will mess with you even if you just do it once. And, I know I've got way too much in my system from just smelting down 30, 40 aluminum cans. But I could tell a difference after that and everything else. And I'm just telling you, it is what it is. You can go with the conspiracy theory over magic people, werewolves, and were-tigers from the Caspian Sea have gone over and taken refuge there. But this technology is meant to basically, you'll get a bit of a run, so it can make the people that are affected by this feel like they can go out there and be like super whatever it is. And, it takes away all the mental fog, everything else. And then when you get so far along, cell phone signals come back on and they'll kind of sit down and hunker down, even if they're civilians or other people, because the military does have shielding with this. It's one of the things that's in all the helmets. And the tank armaments and other things like that are the newer age stuff. I would say that Putin will put in his older, outdated stuff that people are used to and save the reserve situation. I do believe he does have a lot of people who can't be communed into the Russian Orthodox faith, as he is a religious theocracy underneath that, and those are where his mercenaries and others are at. These people would also be affected by that, and as such, whenever they take them down, the network around it, and it almost always works like that in every single country. They will be able to surge forward in front of the army, and there will be looters, other people that seem to be Russian situations out there for it. They will be marauders, other people like that. And then there will be just that. Then the military will come in behind. The military will put up its shielding and put up something that's separate for Ukraine and everything else in the area. The civilians will become sluggish, lethargic, and if it can be made to affect the military population, it will. The Russians will continue rolling forward, and the Ukrainians will have basically like a, high speed, rapid fire, and then it will go to a situation that is, well, a step or two down. And that's what I can tell with basically trying to see if emails come through. I know there's tons of things they do over here in the new world, so to speak of, from Brazil to here, that if you hold a telephone to your head too many times, it'll freeze the blood in your capillaries on one side, or other things like that. It'll freeze the capillaries in your eyes because you sat too close to television. Most of this is done mostly off of racial ethnicity. And I've known about it since I've been about 6. I've known about it mostly in the fact that anyone's old school, old anything of the Americas before World War II and isn't with them. Came up with me and a woman I was dating down in Brazil, and they weren't allowed to ever have that. I told them that they weren't when they just opened up and said, oh yeah, we can do this and we can talk to anybody via this. And it's like, you can't really talk on a video conference. Now Zoom is everywhere. Technically, I've been told by people even in our nation's naval reconnaissance, I'm not allowed to touch a computer since I've been about in middle, 3rd grade, 2nd grade. And I'm not allowed to have video conferences. I'm not allowed to have probably anything like this, but nobody watches my stuff, so they'll probably just take it and use it for themselves. As it is, that's all that I can really say here. Cyber warfare is in complete use. I know that there are other things that they can bring in. If it is a no-fly zone out there with the technology where I started this off at, that means they can use satellite weapons, because satellite weapons can't be used under agreements past the Geneva Convention and everything else whenever there's ability of commercial flights. That's the only thing out there that I can say. I know that for a fact. You'll say, give me the paper that has that on it and those precise people's signatures on it. I'm not going to get that. I know what I know. I'm not stupid. And no, I'm not ever been hired by anybody, to my knowledge, because they just don't know how to send a check, but they know where to find me all the time, and everything else. So there's no check in the mail. There's no direct deposit. And my tax return has nothing to do with anything with employment. Like half the police try and tell me to the FBI and other agencies. And I'm just like, these people are now running probably as senior management. And they've been training and putting people in underneath them like them. Yay. But we have to have faith in our government, faith in there, and while we can have a little bit of a say and be like, we can't really do anything out there, we can try and, at least get the giant marble, so to speak of, and go look that way. Think about rolling there. Think about rolling that direction anytime. Sure. Great. Anyway, this is Colin Dawson, and it's just a impromptu political minute thing. Have a wonderful day.